Hello everybody, this is Jeremy Tilton, the DAW. Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Shadow Hills mastering compressor from Brainworks and Plugin Alliance, and we're going to be checking it out on some bass guitar. Now, the reason why I want to check this out on bass guitar is because it has probably two of the most popular compression styles that you can use to control some dynamic range. The optical style, which is very LA2A-ish, which is great for bass guitar to have some very gentle RMS style compression, and then a VCA compressor that has a ridiculously flexible attack and release time so that you're able to really kind of dial in the exact amount of initial peak control. It kind of gives you the both of best worlds in one plugin. So since this is on a mono channel, you're going to notice that this whole right section is completely grayed out. That's because normally the Shadow Hills mastering compressor works in dual mono or stereo. And since this is a mono channel, we only have the left side. We can control the metering of the type of gain reduction or the output. So we are going to utilize that. But let's just jump into it. We're going to start off by taking a quick listen to the bass guitar and seeing how it sounds in the mix. Okay, so that sounds pretty okay. One thing I am noticing though is there are times when the peaks cut through very well and then you just lose the bass guitar. And I think that's going to cause a problem where we're going to have to push the bass guitar up quite a bit to have it audible. There's going to be those peaks that are going to just make it sound too loud. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this track and see if I can find a good balance of when I can hear the peaks. And then we're going to utilize the Shadow Hills Master Compressor to actually keep it so that its louder volumes and its quieter volumes are close enough where we don't actually have to ride this as hard. So here we go. So that sounds pretty good, except for the fact that it does get drowned out. So the way that we're going to fix this is first turn on the Shadow Hills mastering compressor. And then we're going to start with some optical style compression. Now, this is going to be very slow, but it's also going to help maintain the overall RMS. So let's start off by utilizing the optical threshold. We're going to go for about 3 dBs of compression. This is mostly just going to smooth things out a little bit. The real control is going to be coming from the discrete section, which is a VCA style compressor. We're going to start off with a very low ratio and a very fast attack and release, so we can dial in the initial sound that we want for the compression. So we're just going to bring down the threshold and dial this in. I'm going to set my left meter to discrete now. We have a lot of pumping, and that's because we have a really aggressive attack and release time. We can tweak the ratio to get the amount of compression that we want, and then we're going to decide what type of attack and release we want. For me, I kind of like the dual release mode. It's very slow, but it's also preventing any real pumping. We can actually bring up the output gain just a tiny bit more and set the gain reduction meters to be the left is optical, the right is discrete, and just see how much overall gain reduction we're getting. Not bad. It actually sounds pretty even. Now we're going to switch between the 3 different types of transformers. We have nickel, iron, and steel. For me, nickel is doing something really nice to the high end. Let's bypass the compressor and see if the meters are about the same. With it on, notice that we've gained a lot of headroom because we're doing a decent amount of compression. We can bring this up quite a bit now. Notice how even at those crazy peaks, even though it does sound dynamic and it is peaking, a lot of changes are going on in the frequency balance, but the overall loudness isn't really changing that much. That means that we're doing a pretty good job of basically limiting this. And the reason why it doesn't sound crazy is because we're using two different styles of compression in series. So next, let's bypass this plugin, take this out of solo and listen to it in the mix, and then we'll turn it back on. Let's turn it back on. So one thing that I'm noticing is that I can actually hear the bass pretty much all the time. And what I mean by hear the bass is I can hear the articulation of the bass, meaning it's audible and I can understand what's going on. Now, what I would probably do still is turn it up just a tiny bit and then use some EQ to maybe do some more sculpting to make it sound a little bit brighter, to cut through the mix a tiny bit more. But for now, we can just focus with a little bit of volume gain. And for this, we'll do about a dB or so, right? And we'll go a route there. Now let's listen to it again. We'll have a bypass. You can already hear that some notes are being drowned out in the mix. And with it on, we're pretty much able to hear them all the time. Now, of course, this isn't a final mix, and I haven't really tweaked this in conjunction with the compression and EQing and the mix. But this is just a really quick way of showing you how easy it is to utilize something like the Shadow Hills mastering compressor on low-end material. The way that they programmed these compression algorithms is very, very clean, very smooth. I love it. I don't hear unwanted distortion. And you can get extremely aggressive and extremely out of control, but you can also be subtle and just very invisible. Really cool, really flexible. That's going to be it for this video. This is Jeremy Mateo within the DAW. I will see you guys next time. Bye.